There has been long-running controversy over the Snake River dams here in Washington. Several Northwest tribes say that they are contributing to declining salmon populations, but the dams do provide economic benefits to the region. As a senator, how would you balance these competing interests in conversations about the dams, and are there any circumstances in which you would support breaching them?
So growing up on a farm, I understand, the unique and truly what farmers do for our economy here in Washington State. We're the third largest ag and food producers in the country. Breaching our dams would be detrimental, not just to our farmers and our agriculture. It would mean more trucks on the road, as well as turning the lights out on every Washingtonian. Our dams provide clean hydro energy. Senator Murray's a typical Washington, D.C., bureaucrat who went along with the tides, flip-flopped on the issue. We have technology that protects our salmon. The Army Corps of Engineers just did a research study as well that showed that we have the most salmon now flowing through our locks and our dams than we've had before. So we need to protect our dams. Senator Murray wanted to breach them with no plan to replace that energy at a time when we are heading into a recession with energy costs going up. Our dams are essential to our economy, to our farmers, and to our families all over Washington State.
Thank you, Ms. Murray.
It's really important to know that salmon is part of our economy, it's part of our culture, and it's part of our tribal obligations. We have a responsibility to solve the declining salmon populations. I have worked very hard at the federal level for us here in the Pacific Northwest to make sure we have the resources to do what we can do. Every year I fight for the Pacific Coastal Salmon Recovery Fund that allows us to restore our ecosystems. In the bipartisan infrastructure law, we fought to make sure we had the funds to fix the culverts that often preclude salmon from going back upstream and spawning. And we now are starting to rebuild those. That's a critical part of this. We are working to make sure we're doing everything we can to save our salmon. Now, there was and is a question about whether we should remove some dams. I talked to stakeholders from every part of our state, from utilities to tribes to users of the river, including transportation, and we do not have in place today the resources we need for both resiliency, for energy, or for infrastructure to be able to take those dams down now. But we do have an obligation to make a plan to do everything we can to replace our energy, to replace our infrastructure, so that if in the future that decision is the one thing that will save our salmon, we are ready to do that. We are not today, but I am working hard to make sure we save our salmon in the Pacific Northwest.